introductions here. I'm going to quickly introduce myself. I am Zac Novak, for those that don't know me. Friends of the Rainforest. I think I started coming to Rainforest 4 years ago when I was looking to enter the technology industry, and I come in and out once in a while, but do spend a lot of time with Bridget. I also run another group called Careers in Technology. We meet Wednesday nights, and we're actually dedicated to people pivoting into tech. So community is near and dear to my heart, and I can thank pretty much a lot of my technology career to activities around the rainforest. I did the Evolve U program, which I think was born out of the rainforest, and met a lot of great people along the way. And when Bridget asked if they wanted volunteers to run these sessions, I put my hand up for today. So you got me instead of Bridget. I will do my best.
Thanks for doing that, Zac.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm going to go through these beginning slides, and then we're going to hand it off to Alberta Innovates and Michael Kerr. So I'll quickly do these slides and open them up.
And then while Zac pulls out the slide, just want to introduce myself as a Rainforest volunteer for the Edmonton team. So it's great to see a lot of folks from Edmonton here. Hi, Trevor. Hi, John. So it's really great that we are now really harmonizing and having this lunch for lunch across the province.
Woohoo! Yeah.
And there's Katie too. Hi, Katie.
So as we do, we'll start with an land acknowledgement. So I'll read the slide. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, the Nakoda Nations, the Métis Nation, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. For those in the Edmonton area, we acknowledge the traditional lands of the Treaty 6 territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakoda, Sioux, as well as the Métis, and I apologize if I mispronounced any of that. These sacred gathering places provides us with an opportunity to engage in and demonstrate leadership on reconciliation, and thank you for your enthusiasm and commitment to joining Rainforest Alberta in doing so. So welcome to Rainforest in our Lunch Without Lunch. It's a place for the Alberta technology ecosystem to come together and support innovation in our province. There is a video here. I'm going to play it, but you guys let me know if you don't hear it. I'm surprised that I will be shocked if you guys can all hear it, but let's see how this goes. Can you hear it?
No.
No.
I'll try and play it through my speakers and see if you can hear it.
Did you click on share computer audio before you started the screen share? So when you start the screen share, there's a button, actually a checkbox just at the bottom in the left-hand corner. And then it allows you to share computer sound from there. And you can even pick high quality audio if you know the source is stereo.
Ross comes through again.
Oh, here we go. Computer audio share.
One thing I like about Zoom is it only shares the application Windows audio that you screen share. Oh no, now you're doing just computer sound. I'm not seeing the screen share. So I think you went to advanced. At the bottom of that window, there are two checkboxes. There's an optimize for video clip and a share computer sound. It kind of hides in the very bottom left-hand corner of the share window. Yeah.
Let's try this again. Thanks, Ross. You guys can give me a thumbs up if this works.
What does it take to realize an idea?
Okay.
Or for a seed to sprout? At Rainforest Alberta, we know the answer is rooted in trust. Traditionally, Albertans have cultivated their ideas in established systems. Inputs that don't fit these systems are weeded out. Opportunities for growth are missed. But now, Albertans want a dynamic landscape that can evolve organically, like a rainforest. At Rainforest Alberta, we believe a culture of trust is the fertile soil where ideas grow. Our budding innovation ecosystem is a network of relationships pulling each other up as they push forward in their own field. Trust breaks down barriers. An open, inclusive network increases collaborative innovation. Successful breakthroughs inspire new ideas. A cycle begins. Rainforest Alberta is a movement to amplify trust by cultivating honesty, inclusion, and accountability. How? Our social contract holds us accountable to demonstrate trust across the province. We meet to have honest conversations around collaboration. This leads to more inclusive spaces for everyone to fearlessly build new ideas together. By raising the standard of trust, Alberta's ideas, talent, and resources can be evergreen. Visit rainforestab.ca to sign the social contract and start growing together.
Well, I feel like I just grown because I learned something new today. So following up with the video there, and then there's 6 pillars that guide the rainforest: culture, leaders, resources, engaged activities, policy and infrastructure, and role models. And today will be special because I think Bridget, I know the scorecard results came out today, so people can check how we're doing in all of these pieces. And I think Bridget's going to touch on that just right at the end of the session. And tips to making the most of lunch without lunch. Introduce yourself. What are you looking for? Connecting with other individuals, putting your camera on and asking for questions, and staying connected and watching the recordings. But I think, overall is being willing to put yourself out there and meet others. There's a lot of really friendly and people that want to support you in whatever you're doing. And the more that you tell them what you're looking for and what you're trying to achieve, the more you'll get out of the rainforest. So yeah, welcome.
I'll add another quick point there for you if you don't mind, and that's just make this a repeat habit. Like, get this into your calendar each Wednesday and turn it into not just a once an occasional visit, but get in here frequently and then be willing to step up and present ideas as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So this
Welcome.
week we have Michael Kerr from Alberta Innovates. He is the Director of Regional Innovation and located in Calgary. Within the role, his team provides coaching, networking, and links to financial assistance for firms commercializing technology, as well as embracing the development of an entrepreneurial ecosystem across the province. Michael has worked in both BC and Alberta and has a career spanned working for a small startup as a laboratory chemist, a plant chemist for a Fortune 500 company, running his own consulting firm, and a combined 24 years working for the National Research Council in Alberta Innovates, focused on helping companies commercialize technology. He has also been a chamber president in BC and involved in many not-for-profit boards. Michael has been involved with Rainforest since its early days and is a supporter of the rainforest in his work. So welcome, Michael.
And thank you. I'm just going to share my screen here. Hopefully that shows up. No, wrong screen. Why did I get the wrong screen? Hang on. We'll go that way. There you go. You can see that one.
Yeah.
It was right the first time. I think it was full screened with just the slideshow the first time, and now we see the editing view. Yeah.
Okay, let me switch back because it did not look right to me. Technology, you'd think I would have it by now.
No, I don't think so, Mike.
There. Now you can see the full screen.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, thank you very much. And I am just going to, yeah, there we go. So thanks everyone, and thanks. Great to be joining you with the Rainforest today and talking about Alberta Innovates. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about today goes back to the conversations I've had with many around the rainforest, many participants here today around the collaboration and cooperation as we give service to those clients in the ecosystem, especially the technology ecosystem, which is where we play the most at Alberta Innovates. And how do we move forward in a cooperation? So within Alberta Innovates, so I'm just going to give you the high level here. So Alberta Innovates is a provincial corporation under the Ministry of Jobs, Economy and Innovation. And as I mentioned, it's focused on expanding the growth of commercialization and innovation for the SMEs and commercializing technologies that spin out of the locations that we have across the province. So regardless of where you are, we have supports to move you forward in that journey. One of the things before I go into the client specific area is just be aware we do have locations and with labs attached to them. So here you can see some of our sites. So in Edmonton, we have Mill Woods, and then we have CFIR, which is the Center for Frontiers in Engineering Research. And there we get into destructive testing and some of the bigger equipment side of it. In Devon, so that's just outside of the Edmonton International Airport, community of Devon, we have a facility there that has things like flow loops and support there. In Vegreville, we get more into the ag tech side of things. And in Calgary, we have a lot in the oil and gas side of the work. And with that, I'm going to move on to our priority areas. So priority areas for Alberta Innovates right now is these key areas, starting with digital health. So we do a lot of support, whether it's programs as well as research into how do we advance the healthcare system, and in particular on the data side of it. How do we analyze the information that's coming out so that we can not only have a better healthcare system for ourselves, but there's an opportunity for commercializing technologies that we have and produce in the province and moving that forward. So there's a whole team working on that aspect. Clean resource technologies. So under that, we get into things such as bitumen beyond combustion. So what's the evolution of the oil and gas industry? We get involved in even most recently, people have heard the hydrogen economy. So that's where this one fits, is under the clean resource technologies and how that's evolving. So we have a whole team just engaged in that space. Under clean resource technologies, we also get into the supports for the traditional clean technologies. So that's everything from water, wind energy, and solar, those areas. Under smart agriculture, there is a lot of advancement there from, again, digital agriculture to producing better crops and more, getting more out of our crops where they are. Some analysis as farmers are even driving their tractors and they need to identify or change how much fertilizer goes in what part of the land. That is some of the work that is ongoing there. So there's some work engaging with the post-secondaries. So that's with Lakeland, Olds College, and in Lethbridge too, are kind of the hubs for a lot of that work. I'm going to jump over to artificial intelligence. So we see a lot in artificial intelligence that's happening as an emerging market for Alberta and Albertans. Companies are getting quite engaged in this space, and we have supports, whether it's funding as well as supports for networking and creating the discussion that'll bring it forward. In terms of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, that's where I play the most, my division, and that's where we support the SMEs that are growing. And to that end, I'm just going to move forward here. We look at the companies as we grow in terms of a journey. And if you map it out as we have here, is from left to right, we engage post-secondaries. So sometimes it's fundamental research coming out of the post-secondaries that can be applied to problems and have a commercialization aspect to it. So we might partner with companies, post-secondaries, as well as organizations such as CDL, Creative Destructions Rockies, to move forward. And then in terms of small to medium-sized enterprises, then we have a variety of different programs. I'm not going to go into all the different programs that we have. Needless to say, that if you have an idea, reach out to us. We'll give you the contact information at the end of the presentation, because we like to understand where you're at, and what the next steps are that you need to move forward through to become a growth company and then into the larger company. So with that, it's how do we grow? And also, what are the supports? We offer a portfolio of supports, but we also partner with federal and other provincial agencies to make sure that you're getting the support that you need, not just as a funding organization, but as an advisor, as an organization that also helps you and networks you to the resources that you need. Chances are we probably have the connections that you need to move forward. In the end, what we've found is that if we work together and we have this journey all mapped out together, that we can accelerate the work that the good companies are doing to move them forward and have a benefit to the province. Some of the work we do revolves about what we call RINs, so Regional Innovation Networks. And the key point here is innovation is happening across the province, and we have many great organizations, many great post-secondaries located, as you can see in the map here, in these locations where we've specifically put supports to have the community work together and support the companies where they're at. So in that frame of reference, you have post-secondaries, usually the community, other supports, including technology development advisors. So some of our support teams that do 3 pieces of work. One is coaching, both on the business and technology side of your company. We help with that networking. So let's say you're in a community and you're looking for, getting a CSA certification, but you don't know who to call. We can help with making those linkages and move forward. And then the last is the funding. So on the funding side, we have as I mentioned, our own programs, but we'll look for what does the company need where they are at and make sure that they are able to grow. What I can say is that through these networks, we are finding that engagement, and we're finding those companies that need the resources across the province. And again, we can collaborate and move forward. Sometimes they don't even need funding. We just supply the supports and the networks to move them forward. At this point, I'm going to move into a newer program that we have. Many of you have run across or heard about the Growth Accelerator programs. And so really, when you go back to the journey that we have and how do we make sure that companies grow, but then how do we as a province support the companies to grow and expand at a global level? And so that's really the target here, is to get that later stage of the journey, although there are supports for the earlier ones, but how do we make sure that our companies are able to scale and really accelerate that growth? To this end, a couple of key points on this slide here. One is that all 3 levels of government are coming together like they've never come before and wrap around to make sure that the companies get what they need and accelerate forward, that they're getting not only the education that they need, but the financial supports and the access to those global networks to move forward. We will acknowledge and do certainly tip our hat to our good fine folk at Prairie's Economic Development Canada. Prairies Can has been a good partner on this one, and to make sure that by government, using the principles of Rainforest, of collaboration and cooperation, we can serve better the companies that are in our areas. In terms of what are the accelerators that are out there? So I've highlighted a couple here. So under the Accelerator by 500, we're looking at that earlier stage and moving those tech companies forward and creating a bit of a technology corridor, especially the Edmonton Calgary corridor, and helping those companies accelerate where they're at. Plug and Play is more on the international side and focused in the two areas of digital and clean resources, as I defined earlier. Community Safety and Wellness is powered by an accelerator called Alchemist. And that one is focusing on the areas of the social sector. So how do we use artificial intelligence and move forward for social benefits? And Edmonton is leading the way on this one right now. And hopefully the results of this are not only a social outcome, but we can grow the companies that are involved in the outcome. Some of the metrics I'm getting quite excited to see as we move forward. And then just making sure that we have the full journey covered. There's a catalyzer and pre-accelerator. So that's making sure that we are focused on equity, diversity, and inclusion, and also making sure that companies that are at that earlier stage are lining up to accelerate and move that journey forward. And I'm going to look to Lan if Lan wants to add anything on this, because Lan is actually our manager and lead for the accelerators.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. No, Michael, you did a fantastic job. There's just one more accelerator to add to this list, and that is the Svg Thrive, which focuses on agri-tech.
What?
Svg Thrive. And they focus on agriculture, food technology startups. So they work all the way from inception all the way through to the accelerator program. There are three sections here in Alberta, and the pre-accelerator has just opened up for application. So maybe I can just add a little bit on when the next cohorts will start. So Alberta Accelerated by 500 application portal will open next week for the fall cohort. That's cohort 2. Plug and Play, it's ongoing. So you can, if you think that you are, if you qualify and that is of interest for you, you can go there. For Plug and Play, though, we do have another stream, and that's the Agnostic stream. So they are looking for startups that are, all over different verticals, but with a bit of artificial intelligence underlying as a tech enabler. And they have an ongoing intake process. The CSW, so that's Community Safety and Wellness, powered by Alchemist, their cohort start. The portal will be opening soon as well for the fall cohort. Thank you, Michael.
Well, thanks, Lan. Always good to have your insights and input on that, because you got all the info on that one. And then just as I get into the tail end here is, there's a case study here that we have where we're talking about collaboration and cooperation of the ecosystem. So we have organizations like AMI, the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, which is an organization we've been supporting in the machine intelligence aspect. We got Alta ML that is also playing in more the people side. And then you have Adabotics, which is on the logistics side of it. And when we look at these separately, each company is, of course, doing well, or organization is doing well. But when we start to think of it as an ecosystem and bring these players together, we can start to grow companies even more rapidly, and we become the global player in a field such as logistics and robotics. So those are the sorts of things that we're really working on and digging deeper into to make sure that Albertans get what they need to move forward and grow the good companies that are here. And one of the areas for those collisions, you say, where would that take place? So besides Rainforest, which is very well known, Inventures is coming up. So if you haven't already got your tickets, I will just promote that you do. I'll give you the discount code for Rainforest in a second here. But Rainforest is the June 1st to 3rd. in Calgary. And it is an event that is bringing together global players, global leaders in a variety of key technology areas, and also the investors and investment players to help us grow our economy. We have been very attractive to the global market to bring very high level speakers, panelists together to have conversations in these key areas. So the tracks include navigating to net zero. So that's deep dive into environmental technologies. Future casting work, or digging deeper into the changing work environment, and especially in a post-COVID world, what does this mean? We've learned that we can work differently. Where's that heading, and how do we get the most out of that? Ag tech, of course, that goes without saying. That's around agriculture, digital agriculture, and what are best practices happening around the world. Health, what is the advancements in healthcare, and digital health. So what are we getting out of things such as remote sensors and ongoing healthcare? So you can, not just get healthcare at the time of doctor's visits, but how do we use sensors and work so that you have a continuum of care? Mission critical moonshots, again, that's going into, high-end think tank of, what's out there? What are the next evolutions of technology? Capitalism, we're digging into the fact that Alberta is becoming a core for financial technologies. And so under that auspices is bringing together the thought leaders of where that's going. And then Taming Urban Jungles is talking about smart cities and all the deep dive in there, and sensors through to, smart technologies and energy that is there. So here's the discount code for those of you in here today. You can use the 22 INVRF, so 22 Inventures and Rainforest, and you get 10% off your tickets. And again, that's June 1st to 3rd. Oops. There you go.
It's pretty quiet.
Michael, is it just jazzy background music? Is that all we're missing?
Yep, I think that's it.
You hear it?
It's okay.
You couldn't hear it?
His xylophone.
Yeah, all right. And so anyways, there's my contacts to finish. So if you want to talk to, we have our communications toolkit for, learning how, so you can put up your stories there. You can connect with a TDA, Technology Development Advisor, through the Connect With Us at .albertainnovates.ca. So they'll make sure that you have a connection, or just directly to myself. And there's my email on the slide. So I'm open to questions at this time.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
You shared with us a bunch of innovation priorities. Where does lean thinking fall into those priorities?
Lean as in lean management?
Okay, you just answered my question. No, lean thinking.
Yeah. Lean thinking, yeah, okay. So there are technologies that go across all of the platforms. Okay, so that would be underneath each one. So I could even say, ICT. So where's software? Well, software is in each one. So that is there. I would also say at the Inventures, the moonshot would cover lean. And the reason I asked for clarification is I'm a lean manager. So I deal with a lot of production systems. So that's why I just needed the clarification.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question? What is lean thinking, Vaughn? Am I the only one that doesn't know this?
I'll give you
What do
a
you mean by that?
definition. There's not a standard definition, but it's people-centered, systematic business philosophy committed to the relentless elimination of waste everywhere, while continually adding value for all stakeholders.
And how is that different than lean management?
Go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, oh, that's it.
Yeah, so it's the same philosophy, but it goes across. So it's more embedded versus a process. So lean management is, you know, the physical act, but then the lean thinking, it becomes more culturally ingrained is my understanding. I don't know, Vaughn, if that aligns with your knowledge.
Yeah.
Cool. Open up for more questions. Go ahead. Peter.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Hi.
Peter.
Hi, Mike.
Hey,
Nice to see you out there.
yeah,
Nice to see the new programs. Really good to see some of that connection between the various governments and coordinating more different bodies together. That's always something that I think we've been looking for. So that's great. Can you just expound on that a wee bit, on how, like Rainforest, we have this kind of really continuous share philosophy of diving together to really share our ideas and not protect each other's of being afraid of, you know, shared intellectual property, that sort of stuff. Can you expound on that a wee bit with how Alberta Innovates treats that kind of stuff?
okay. So, oh, my lights just went out. Hang on, got a wave. There we go. I don't know if that was a signal that I'm done, you know, that's it. The lights turned out, the party's over.
I have sensor controls right here.
It's like, how did that happen? Yeah, and there's a couple of ways of looking at that, Peter, is, you know, first off, the one-on-one engagement with the companies, we have a confidentiality agreement. So,
Yeah.
so that is professional conduct, and it won't go unless you okay it. Now, what's fascinating from the other aspect of it, when you talk about government, is government in the innovation space has certainly evolved. I've been here 10 years now, and when I started, it was you can't talk to the person in the next department, even though you knew where that client should be going. It was just, nope, sorry, confidential, keep your lists to yourselves. And now we're, yeah, without disclosing, you know, confidential information, I could say, you know, that Peter, he's got something there, nudge, nudge, you know, over we go, and we can make those handshakes that are happening. And that's helping maximize your value as you progress forward. So then it becomes, and we even have shared meetings too. So then we are able to work together to make sure that your journey is smooth and fast. So that's really what we're trying to do now. Are we there, and is it as good as it can be? No, it's still a work in progress, and we're getting better. Organizations and groups such as the AGS, you may be familiar with that. That's where we do start to build the government's various parties together to move forward.
Who do you think we have to poke at to get that to move a little faster? Just, and you don't have to answer that question now, but the who.
The who, okay. So again, processes are in place. So we need to make sure that we're not at the core violating your confidential information. So
Sure, yeah,
once we get to that point where we got to move forward. So I would say, you know, you can poke me if you've got good suggestions to move forward, and I can certainly move it up to that conversation.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Martin.
Hi there. Hi, Michael. I just sort of continue that question from Peter. The experts that, I mean, we got a whole bunch of experts here at Rainforest. Your technology advisors, have they got a pool of people that they could go to get, you know, volunteer support of that? If somebody knows of a specific process or a specific solution, do you guys have a database, or would you appreciate having a database of people that, you know, have put their names forward to volunteer to help out some of these companies innovate in Alberta?
I would appreciate, you know, adding to the database, absolutely. And with our advisors around the province, they have their own networks and connected. We're connected, of course, here to Rainforest, but also through the RINs. So in some cases, that knowledge base is in the post-secondaries in those locations. And it's amazing how many nuggets there are around the province that are not known. So anything to enhance that database, that's perfect. We can't endorse and or, you know, give exclusive rights to one in a specific area. We just can't do that. But if we have a list and say, hey, I know 3 or 4 that have this expertise, let's write on.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
send to me, please.
Okay. That's good. I got to think about it. I guess the problem that you have is then it looks like if you say, hey, you know, Marty knows about this, then it looks like you're endorsing. Yeah, okay, I gotta think and check.
Yeah.
Whereas really, it's like I just want to help these guys out. I know this particular. Hey, these firms here help you solve that problem. It's not like we're trying to get in the way and create revenue. It's like, no, we're trying to all help the province and help the companies in the province move forward. So it's kind of in all of our interest to help each other. But then there's all those other things that get in the way, I suppose.
Yeah, well, little bits. Although I would say, when you say, do we know Marty? I'll give you an example. So let's say intellectual property. Somebody needs intellectual property. Well, okay, we know the 10 or 15 patent attorney offices, and there you go. You got the list. So hopefully that helps. But then if you know, we have those informal conversations of, oh, well, there's a specific piece that's needed. Can we move it forward? Yeah, then we would have that conversation.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jeff, go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, this probably touches a little bit on what Marty was just asking about the help and the support that Alberta Innovates can bring to the community. I know, Michael, you and I have a bit of a background of helping people in the community, but perhaps you can just address for Rainforest really quickly, at what stage a company would really benefit from touching base with Alberta Innovates, because I appreciate that not all companies are either ready for Alberta Innovates. Some of them might be past ready and too far gone. But I'd like if you could share with us kind of that sweet spot where you'd really like to communicate with companies for maximum benefit, and you don't want to waste your time or their time.
You know what? It's never a waste of time for a client to connect with us. And so with the principles of Rainforest and the regional innovation networks, the way we've set it up is, regardless of where you are in the journey, you can reach out. So our intake process is such, we'll find where you need to be. And so even if it's not our sweet spot, we know the other players, so that then you're not just aimlessly calling 1-800 numbers or on web pages trying to find the support. You'll get it directly. And we'll say, yeah, you're too early or too late for us, but here are the ones. And then we'll do those warm handshakes to those other entities. So we're taking some of that role to make sure that you get what you need. Yeah, because we got to do that. We can't just, you know, oh, sorry, you're not a fit. Bye. Doesn't work.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Gail.
Thank you. So Michael, great to hear your presentation as always. A lot of people may not know how Alberta Innovates already has been supporting the rainforest in some manner as one of many of the entities that have found value in supporting this network. So could you speak to that both in Calgary and in Edmonton?
Oh, shucks. Now you're going to make me get all embarrassed. Yeah, we've certainly been supporting. I was there in the early days, and in fact, through some of the RIN funding, we did support some of those initial engagements to get the rainforest movement moving forward, because it aligns with the principles of the regional innovation networks. So, but not just the funding support. You look at the other supports of having us there, and I will be the first one to admit, bad me, I haven't been to the rainforest in a while, so sorry. But as I think it was Pete had challenged me to put it on my calendar, I challenge accepted. I will do my part.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, we are still supporting through some of those funds, and whether it's, you know, one step removed from the direct funding support through to you know, you've got Lan here. So Lan is being a supporter from the Edmonton region as a co-host, and I know she was with Innovate Edmonton, and now with ourselves, we're here. So we're listening, we're engaging, and we want to keep those conversations going. So hopefully, I don't like bragging; it's not my thing, but
All right,
we're here.
Thanks, Michael. Maybe we should brag about you and Alberta Innovates. I realize that's probably more comfortable, but yes, the TDAs have been great at participating. Land's been outstanding as a volunteer in the steering committee, and as well as bringing entrepreneurs to the stage. And then both regional innovation networks in Calgary and in Edmonton have found value in using their funds given through Alberta Innovates to the region to supporting the rainforest. And so it was a nice surprise to see today.
Yeah, what a pleasure. And I just saw in the note, we need an intern. Actually, fascinatingly enough, we've just hired 3 interns that are starting for the summer to dig and work on certain things. So it's always good to collaborate and coordinate.
Adam, go ahead. This is gonna have to be like a lightning round, like 1 minute, so we have time for breakout rooms, but so we can put it in.
Fantastic. Yeah, just I wanted to piggyback off Martin and Jeff really quick. Would it be fair to say that everyone who learns about like the programs through Alberta Innovate should also check out actually Zac's advisors and people at Careers in Technology and Innovation, because it seems like his community provides a ton of value through actual people. Alberta Innovates providing a ton of programs. And then ultimately, I'm guessing we're going to get to a good round 3 of maybe products that everybody should consider. So ultimately, if he won't shout it out, I will happily shout it out. You should check out Careers in Technology and Innovation, meet with advisors. And Zac does the triage manually. I don't know how he does it.
Did you say the College of Innovation?
Careers in Technology and
Technology.
Innovation. It's a great community that Zac Novak runs through Slack and various other platforms. So again, the trifecta of 3 would definitely be beneficial for you planning out your next venture.
Yeah, it absolutely would. And I know it's crossed my desk before, but I haven't done a deep dive in the careers in tech. But I will say one of the best things I've noticed the change is having those initial meetings just to discover. So rather than program focused and money focused, give us an application. It's where are you going? What are you trying to do? And understanding the journey where you're heading first, and then align the support to where you are in that journey. So no door is the wrong door, and making sure that you're getting the support you need where you are in your journey is really the key messaging. And I will say over the last 10 years of being in the ecosystem, that has been a marvelous change from my side, and it has also accelerated the growth of companies.
I appreciate the plug, but we will get out to breakout rooms. We'll do 2 breakout rooms for about 6 or 7 minutes. I'll bring you back, and then we'll roll the dice, and you'll be in a different room. So I'll break you out now. And thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And again, challenge accepted. I will be putting Rainforest back in my calendar.
Yay!
This is the feedback poll of the session.
Thanks, Zach.
And it's open for announcements. Does anyone have a community announcement they want to share?
I've got Civic Tech YYC happening next week. I know I plugged it last time, which we were hybrid, but here's the link there to the event. May 10th at 7 p.m. We're having the Andy Cross Ann and Sandy Cross Conservation Area coming on to talk about their innovations in technology being utilized for wildlife conservation there.
Awesome.
Cool. I'm going to jump in if I can. Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the community manager here with Rainforest. Myself and my colleague Amber have been in a training program every Wednesday, so bad timing. But thanks to Zac for stepping up as volunteer host today, and to Michael from Alberta Innovates for sharing. I'll have to watch the recording, Michael, to catch up. I just wanted to make a quick announcement to everyone about our long overdue scorecard analysis, scorecard report. It is complete, and we are incredibly excited about the deliverable. We ended up, as many of you know, collaborating with Janelle Morgan, who's a PhD candidate at U of C, is it psychometrics expert? And Rachel Wade, our diversity, equity, inclusion expert. And we ended up bringing on board a local company in data analytics called Cashew, who came in at the end and helped us pull a bunch of pieces together that we were struggling with as far as analysis and presentation of the report. So we're super grateful for everyone's support in creating that wonderful report. So you can read it there, that random link I threw in the chat. There are some recommendations at the end of the report. It's very thorough. There's a thorough appendix. If you are into data, just dig deep. If you're not, there's a lot of just high level points you can take away, and some wonderful recommendations that we ask you take away back to your organizations or your startups and see how they might be implemented in your own world. Normally, we host an annual summit, but because we are undergoing a bit of a re-strategizing at Rainforest, we do not have a summit on the books in Calgary, but we will find a way to bring the community together to talk about how these recommendations can be actioned. But I do ask that everybody take it upon themselves to take these recommendations away and see how you can implement some of this work, because it's general enough that it can be done within all of our circles. So I'll leave it at that. It can also be found, I give you the link directly to the report, but it's on our website under the scorecard tab. And if there's any other announcements.
I just want to put a plug in for Accelerate AB, which is held by the A100 every year, sometimes in Calgary, sometimes in Edmonton, alternating. This year it's in Edmonton. And AI Week by Amy will be held at the same time. So information available on easily Googleable. Technology Alberta has it on our website, as does certain A100. So thank you, everyone. Good seeing you all today.
Yeah.
You too.
Well, if that's it, we'll let you all carry on with your day. Thanks again, Zach, and great to see you all quickly.
At 1:30, there's a ML AI low code session. So I posted that in there as well.
Awesome.
There's a Zoom meeting at 1:30, an open discussion around it. So thanks.
Cool.
Take care.
That's very cool. Thanks for sharing, Peter. All right, we do usually keep the room open for a little bit if anyone wants to stay and chat, so I can do that. If you need to go with Zach, I think you can without it.